Let's go! Welcome to the Northwest Adventure, and today we're on the Mountain Loop Highway between Darrington, Washington and Granite Falls. It's a 52-mile drive, including segments of State Route 530, Highway 9, and State Route 92. There are some fire restrictions due to how dry it's been, and we're in a heat advisory tomorrow. So no fires, no briquettes, but a gas grill shall suffice if you're going to be up here cooking. So hop in the H3, let's go for a ride and check out the Mountain Loop Highway. Whoa. And we're off. Alright, so as you can tell, there's a lot of potholes on this road. It's a mix of gravel and a mix of asphalt in certain sections. If I recall correctly, there's a 14-mile stretch of strictly gravel and potholes. So the best time to drive this is from spring through the fall season. So let's take this next left turn and I'll tell you the intent of this video. So if you're new to this channel, The Northwest Adventure, please hit the like button and subscribe so you can keep up with me on the latest adventures coming out of the Pacific Northwest. So make sure you ring that bell. So what we'll be discussing today is some off-roading essentials, such as what you should bring with you if you're headed out to the backcountry, and what you shouldn't bring with you when you're headed out on these trails. So let me get out real quick and make some adjustments. Alright, now that I'm into the trail, I believe it's Forest Service Road 2090. We're gonna twist in the side mirrors. So when the brush comes along, don't smash them off. As we progress this trail, it's about to become very narrow. Alright, always be prepared when you're out here. Not sure if you noticed, but you see me carrying my bear spray. So be prepared and be ready for whatever comes out. We got bobcats, we've got wolves, foxes, coyotes, wolverines, and even honey badgers. So look out for them. They'll get a guy. So for those wondering, what are the off-roading essentials I carry in the H3? Well, for recovery gear, I bring a tow line and or a snatch strap, shackles, and a tree strap. So I like to use the tree strap if I have to use a tree to pull my ass out of a bind. So I'm not a tree hugger, but I do not want to destroy Mother Nature if I don't need to. Also, always make sure you bring a headlamp or some sort of work light, just in case something breaks down and you're out in the dark. Next, I don't carry max tracks because I have a winch, so that works out just fine when I need it, and usually when I need it, it's for somebody else. And if you don't have a max tracks or a winch, rubber floor mats will work great underneath your tires to get you out of almost any bind. And yes, I've used the rubber floor mats in the past on this same highway in the ice and in the snow. By the way, look up. You got fallen trees everywhere along this little corridor. So although this isn't the toughest trail in the world, it's mainly just a road that leads you to somewhere special. Next, I bring a jump starter, and you may want to bring jumper cables just in case you run out of power. I also bring a tool bag full of tools, and tools that can remove an axle nut, tools that can remove a CV half shaft, and a tire repair kit in case you need to plug a hole. Also, I bring gloves, leather gloves, because some of these truck parts are really hot, so you don't want to burn your little hands off, okay? Next, bring plenty of water and food, because you might get hungry when you're out on the trail, so you need something to eat. I like to bring protein and carbs. Although pizza is one of my favorite dishes, I do not bring it with me to the backcountry. The bears and the raccoons will smell that from a mile away, and I do not want them crawling through my leaky H3 sunroof. Haha, that sunroof doesn't leak. Alright, next, I carry a high lift jack. Some of y'all farm boys might call it a farm jack. Those things work really well, but let me tell you something, if you ain't ready for it, they call this thing the Widowmaker, and ask me how I know. This thing will knock you out of your socks if you don't pay attention to it. And also, I bring myself a air compressor. It's a Smittybilt 2780. It's a 2.54 CFM, and this thing is great for filling up the tires. It works pretty quickly. It's kind of noisy, so it'll keep the wildlife at bay while you're out there doing it. And I've also invested in an ARB Easy Deflator, which works really nicely and is pretty quick. Also, when you're out there, make sure you bring a shelter, some sort of tarp, and in the evening it may get cold, so bring a blanket. And next, you want to make sure you have a shovel, because if you get yourself stuck in a ditch, you might want to dig yourself out. You may be able to dig up some rocks and use those to kind of give yourself some leverage. And last but not least, bring some popcorn. Why popcorn? Well, it may be a long, long night if you don't have these essentials until somebody else drives down this trail. And as you notice, not a lot of other four-wheel drive guys are cruising these trails. I'm going to jump out of the truck real quick, walk up this trail, see what's up ahead. I hear water, and I smell the forest, and oh, she smells good. Yeah, there's bears out here. And how do I know that? Well, I just saw a big pile of bear scat. So do any of you viewers ever hit the trails? Do you go off-roading? Do you do the sand and mud dunes in Moses Lake? Or have you ever made it to the Capitol Forest in Olympia? I haven't been there yet, so I'll probably head down south in a couple months once the weather clears up a bit. Not sure if you could tell, but this is a tight trail for Jeeps and H3s. I had a H2 follow me back here a couple years back, and they only made it maybe 100 yards into the trail before they backed up and had a forfeit. They locked up their rig and jumped in my H3, and then we did the rest of the trail. These trails here are definitely too big for the H2s, unless you had the H2s cruising through and widening the trail with their big backs and bodies. Keep that in mind when you head out to these areas, if your rig can actually make it without destroying the Northwest forest. As you can see, this isn't too technical of a trail, but there are going to be some washouts coming up. If you look to the left, there's a pretty good drop off, so you really want to be cognizant of where you're at, what you're doing. One wrong turn and you are going to have to break out the essential recovery gear. And speaking of recovery gear, was there anything that I missed? Is there anything that you bring that I didn't mention? Is there anything that I mentioned that is overkill for a little simple trail like this? Now, I did not mention sunglasses. Take a peek at that bright sun in your face. Bring some sunglasses, bring some sunscreen, and bring mosquito repellent. Believe me, you'll need it, especially if you have sweet blood like I've got. Yeah, mosquitoes love me. The old lady and I have gone on motorcycle trips in the past, and I'll stand there all by myself and have 100 mosquitoes swarming me. Everybody else around is looking at me, and kids are pointing at their parents going, "Mom, look at that guy. Does he have honey on his skin or what?" Yep. I've never told a lie, yo. We're going to walk it up a little bit more, then I'm coming back because it's only getting darker, and these are tight trails, and I'm up here soloing. So, I'll be back. All right, so here's some of the most vital information I can share with you. So do you see how all these trees are bent over? We get some heavy winds here, and we get a lot of rain. Do not come to these trails when it's windy, because trees will fall and trees kill. Besides that, this is landslide territory. Most recently, the county shut down the Gold Basin campground due to the possibility of slides. You really want to know what you're doing when you come out here. You can't mess with Mother Nature. She'll always win. So now that I've shared some knowledge with you, I'd like to ask you to return the favor and share some of your off-road knowledge with me. Let's do a U-turn and head back down the hill. I've got some tacos waiting for me. Until then, stay blessed, stay fresh. If you're new to the channel, hit the like button and subscribe to the Northwest Adventure. Huh.